Yo, I'm back again. This is Street Smart Sarge here with another Virginia's Gangster Files. Yeah, today's gangster is going to be Anthony Geezy Gonzalez. Yeah, now I think y'all gonna like this story. It's all about take place over in Hampton Roads. I know you remember Club Encore Lounge. So I'm gonna get into this story. Let's do it. Today, gangster is going to be Anthony Geezy Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez was charged with running a $10 million drug ring and having ties to Panama City, Arizona, California, and Florida. Now, he was Club Encore Lounge, which was popular around that time in this area. Now, the police were called to the club 116 times in 2008 and 24 separate times for fights and gunshots. Now, at this time, around 2009, around 2008, the club was pretty much where you wanted to be at. You know, it was lit, it was live. You know, it was the place to be. So the 6-year drug operation was based at Club Encore Lounge. Gonzalez bought the club. The address was at the time 1889 Virginia Beach Boulevard. And in November 2007, from an unidentified co-conspirator, he bought the club for 40 pounds of marijuana and about $80,000 in drug proceeds money. That's what was told, of course, on the case. So, just to break it down a little bit, Geezy owned the club Encore Lounge, and he bought the club November 2007. And they didn't identify the co-conspirator, but they did say that they purchased it for $80,000. The purchase was for $80,000 and for 40 pounds of marijuana. Geezy, who wasn't the only one that was charged in his indictment. It was him. At the time, it was 34. Then it was two brothers, Raymond D. McCoy, who was 24, and John Lee McCoy III, who was 26. Richard Hogarth, 25. The drug conspiracy stretches from Hampton Roads across the country to South America. So Geezy was an international player. That's why, I picked this story. The story is a good story. So, to carry on, the indictment said the operation had distributed more than a ton of marijuana and more than 100 pounds of cocaine since 2003 throughout Hampton Roads. The suspects obtained drugs from Panama, Arizona, California, and Florida, and either flew them here or drove them with cars containing hidden compartments. The indictment also says an unidentified police officer, who sources say is from Norfolk, fed info about the drug inquiry to Gonzalez. No comments of that being true, because the police spokesman declined to comment on the matter. But Gonzalez and others lived lavishly, staying at ritzy Arizona resorts while obtaining multiple kilos of cocaine and hundreds of pounds of marijuana. Gonzalez bought himself a $127,000 Bentley sedan and a $90,000 Mercedes Benz. Ballin'. Ballin'! He also laundered proceeds through various businesses like Sole Provider Management, Sole Provider Entertainment, D&A Trucking, and the nightclub. Sole Provider Management is listed as booking agents for the Eclipse. So Gonzalez also had ties with the rapper Clips. The suspects would portray themselves to be music producers, rappers, entrepreneurs, club owners, clothing designers, any occupation that could cover up the source of their income. Now, at the time in 2007, Olympic medalist Tim Montgomery was caught selling heroin in the club parking lot. Now, he was part owner at the time in 2007, so he did end up he got charged with the charge, found guilty, and ended up doing 5 years in the federal penitentiary. The club at the time was hot. The DEA did not know if Gonzalez and Montgomery were working together, so they were never really charged, with it like a drug ring. Montgomery was charged with his charge, and Gonzalez was dealing with the drug ring. So they wanted to catch Gonzalez, in the act, or just any kind of information, because at the time, like I said, they really had some evidence, but they didn't have evidence fully. I guess people weren't getting caught at the time, but to make a long story short, they had went ahead and they taped his phone calls. So one phone call was to Gonzalez from a supplier. The supplier was telling him that his boy had arrived with something nice. It was half buds and half shaped. They recorded him in another call where he was saying that he was one of the last of the Mohicans because he hasn't been. They know I won't be doing that hand-in-hand stuff. Wow. All recorded on tape. That's why you got to be careful on when you get hot, or when you feel like, you've been coasting like that, or, it's just a simple precaution in life. When you're doing stuff and you ain't doing right, you can't never feel like you're invincible. Like, you can never feel like I'm that shit, because that's basically what you were saying. I'm the last of the Mohicans. You know what I'm saying? So they really, really wanted to get you. Gonzalez would oversee some of the biggest shipments, and the underlinks would travel cross country for the lower or smaller transactions. Now, Geezy is being in the indictment. Geezy's being charged with purchasing 625,000 pounds of marijuana for $540,000, and then purchasing. Well, this is in Arizona, and he's also charged with purchasing 10 kilos of cocaine for $200,000. Now that's a lot of money. $740,000. Now, Gonzalez was the manager with the Eclipse up to 2006. That's what it shows on the news report. Could be wrong. The group Clips which is Pusher and Malice, Terrence, and Gene Thornton. That's who make up the group Clips, and they are from Virginia Beach.
The Clips were not able to be reached for a comment. I believe the Clips had spoken on it and said they had not known what was actually going on. They just, thought they was helping somebody out from the neighborhood. And the other suspects that were also related to this crime, or to the indictment, was Charles A. Sanderlin, 25, Sean J. Branch, 35, and Ron Q. Williams, 32. Williams is actually serving time in the federal penitentiary for another unrelated charge. Now, this story, that was basically the story. Some people might have, questions about the story. So, like I said, you can always check, on YouTube. You can check on Facebook. You can check on Google. And, Anthony Geezy Gonzalez pops up all through the feed. He also has a Facebook page of his own. You can tap in there. This is Street Smart Sarge. Thank you for the support. I love you. Stay tuned. Come on back for the next Virginia Gangster Files. And we are out. Holla. We out here.